Hey everyone, how are you doing? I hope that the resolution, this is just my computer screen. For some reason, my webcam was not working live with this. So I was like, okay, looks like we're going with my regular on-screen camera. Hopefully that is okay. I hope that you all are having a good one. We're always a little bit delayed a little with YouTube and then all of that fun stuff. So I'll wait for you all to comment. Here's some comments. Hello, Reading Nook, Brooke. How is everyone doing? I am so excited. I only work until June 6th. And then I'm on summer break, which means that I will actually have time to record videos and read and go hang out with my son and do all of those fun things. So there will be more videos on my channel soon, guys. I promise. Hey, Ellen and Renee and Amber. Oh my goodness. Hi, Helen. How is everybody doing this evening? I hope that you guys are doing well and having all of the relaxing good times that you guys deserve to be having. Alex has decided that he is pushing his evening bedtime, and so what used to be like 6:30 is now 8. And so that has been an interesting change to sort of go through, really, because I've been really loving my 6:30 bedtimes. Renee, we're having a big storm warning and maybe later a tornado. Oh my goodness. I really, really hope that it passes over you. I understand living in Tornado Alley exactly what that is like. We've been having really heavy storms lately as well here in Oklahoma. And this whole entire week has been like 50s and 60s, which in May, I was talking to my nanny because I took her to go see the new Downton Abbey. She says that she doesn't remember in like her 75 years of ever having such a cool May. I don't know about you guys. All right. So we've waited a couple of minutes for everybody. So this book club live stream is all about space murder that we all voted for and picked for the sci-fi theme for May. What are you guys? What first off? What's your Clio rating or your star rating for this book? Let me know what the star rating. Hot in Florida. Oh, Ellen, I'm so sorry it's hot. It's just, I feel like once all of this cool like rain weather passes, then we're just going to be hot and humid. Like it's just going to be insanely gross, hot and humid, and it's just going to be the worst, and I'm not going to like it at all. Cuz that's just what tends to happen here in Oklahoma. So we've got Renee, 3.5 Cleos, 4, 5. So some of you guys who gave them like 4 or 5s, like, are you shocked that you gave a cozy or a sci-fi cozy that rating? What do you guys think? Amber, 5 stars. It's been either cool in the 60s or hot in the 90s. I agree. I'm half listening to book club because I'm halfway through the book. I'm really loving it. Gonna give it 4.5 stars right now. 4 stars. Really enjoyed. Guys, be still my heart. Have I converted you guys to sci-fi cozies? I promise you they're good. Helen, 3 Cleos. So I will let you know. I gave it 3.25 Cleos. So, but there's a caveat. I instantly purchased the second book. Amber, you listened to the audio? What? So it was good? It was good? I didn't even realize that the audio was there. I should have looked for the audio because I've been really loving audiobooks lately. Okay, so we're giving it those stars. So those that aren't reading it or haven't read it yet, the synopsis is really really good. Our main character's name, if you went to the you went to Patreon, I created a whole entire character list as well. I tried to do as best as I could with the character lists, because it was sort of hard for me to like gauge like who was important enough to be on the character list, different things like that. So for those that actually looked at the character list, like, what did you think? Did I do an okay job? I hope I did. But I really did enjoy this series as well. So I am it says, so for everything there is a season. Once the star of her training class, Captain Liz Laika is now an outcast, a casualty of family scandal. Now stuck in the worst post in the fleet, she should keep her head down. But when a cerulean, is it cerulean or cerulean? A passenger is found decapitated and Liz is framed for murder. She has no choice but to fight for her life. Not an easy feat when she's facing kidnapping, ship-eating whales, horse-sized spiders, and corrupt fleet officers with personal vendettas. And in the middle of the intergalactic murder drama, her ex-fiancé appears. Captain Liz needs to clear her name and fast. Let's see. Different than what I normally read, but definitely liking it. Surprised on how much you liked it. First sci-fi cozy? Yes. It was so quirky and funny. It was enjoyable and well written, but space might not be my but space may not be your sci-fi shop genre. Listen to the audio too. Listen to it on Hoopla. Found it for $2.99, and I don't usually like audiobooks, but I didn't think I'd ever listen to one read by the author. It does make a big difference when like the author has sort of like, I don't know, almost skin in the game, so they have to sort of do it justice, right? Do it well justice, but it's also really hard like to do an audiobook if you ask me, because like finding the voices and different things like that, like that can make and break a book for me. So when it came to Liz's past, how it wasn't really revealed, but it was like sort of revealed. What did you guys think about that? Like, from what I gathered from book one, something happened with her uncle and embezzling money, I think, and then she got pulled into it. But in book one, they don't really go into that much detail about what happened to her to put her on trial and become from like the highest best person in the fleet and in her classes to being all the way to the lowest rung, getting the jankiest ship. I feel like they could have given me just like I love mysteries within mysteries. Don't get me wrong. I do love that. But I feel like they could have given us a little bit more detail as to like what really went wrong and like how badly it went wrong, because that just seems like a quick like this something bad happened or her parents died. This something bad happened. Now she's given the lowest rung. She loses her fiance and all of these things. It didn't feel like it was talked about as much as I probably would have liked it to be talked about. Like I still like the fact that even in the second book, because I started the second book, they are giving a little bit more detail into her past. So for those, if that was an issue for you, that is something that they are like that the author is starting to show more of in the second book. So yeah, Holland or Amber says, I agree. I felt like I missed something. There were a couple of times in the book that I felt like, oh, did I miss something? Like, what just happened? Ellen, I was wondering why she was such an outcast. Agree. Like, I feel they should have done more, because to me, she's a rule follower, all of these things. She didn't give me the outcast rebel kind of vibes that like Rafe, her pilot, does, or like I feel like we should have had like a little bit more of something to that. So speaking of like like some of the science fiction elements. Were the science fiction elements, were there too many, or was it just enough that it pulled you into the science fiction world and gave you like a hint of it? Because for me, I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. Like right now, in playing in our living room right now is Star Trek Next Generation. We are rewatching Star Trek because I wanted to. So to me, I love the sci-fi elements and the different races and all of that. But for those people who don't necessarily watch sci-fi or read a lot of sci-fi, what were your reactions to having the amount of sci-fi elements in there? Hi Amber, so glad that you were able to make it. Alicia, for her to be exonerated seemed to be punished pretty severely. Would have liked more of an explanation. I agree. Like she was exonerated like on a technicality, it seemed like, but then she was still being punished. And towards the end of the book, it looked like somebody higher up, I think the president, is trying to get her killed. Um, in my opinion, I don't know about what you guys think. I like the amount of sci-fi in the book. Good, good. I liked it. I could have liked a little bit more, but I totally understand the author not wanting to overdo it or overshare her hand when it came to sci-fi. Definitely wanted more backstory. I agree. 1,000,000%. More backstory would have been really, really nice. Or like maybe even flashes back to that time period. I've really been enjoying, I'm listening to a book right now and they're going back and forth like into different years, but it's not confusing. It just makes the present in the book feel more clear as to where the tension lies. So I like that. So we have the Cerulean, I think it's Cerulean, people on board. And we have the characters are Vanessa, who is the fiance to the king of Cerulia, and then Waylon, her sister, who we find out is also in love with the king. Rick and Todd are like bodyguards or like people who are there to be like her entourage. And there was another person, I think, that was also killed, or maybe Rick or Todd. No, yeah, another person on their team, I don't remember the name, was killed and beheaded. And that is when Liz ran down with Rafe and with Horton and really found the body with Cleo or Chloe and posted that they needed help. They needed to have sort of an officer there. I will say that it seemed to jump a lot, like figuring out like why he was murdered. I feel like the author did a really good job of like dropping clues, especially where Chloe was concerned on watching the reality show from that planet. But it did take me a minute to like go, oh, okay, so they're not technically supposed to be on the ship. And maybe there's something going on within that group of people as to why one of them was killed. It was my first sci-fi cozy, but have watched a bunch of sci-fis. It was a new experience. I got the book, Hey Ivy, but didn't get to read. Still planning on reading it. Good. I hope that you read it and give it a chance and see what you think about it. So who did you think were the prime suspects at the beginning? At the beginning, I was completely confused, to be honest. I feel like we didn't know enough background to have prime suspects because I didn't think it was Liz or Rafe or Chloe or Horton. I didn't think that it was like I didn't think it was any of them. And then like we didn't really know a lot about anyone else. Vanessa did start to become a little shady when she like sort of said, "Yes, Liz, come and have tea with us." I liked the bit about where Liz realized that the tea was poisoned when her plant was killed because she poured the tea on the plant. I did like that sort of little dropped hint there. Let's see. Amber, she didn't talk much about the victim. I wasn't really sure who it was or if it mattered. I agree. That's sort of how I was feeling. I felt like they relied a wee bit too much on the reality show for the info dumps. Agreed. Ellen thought it was Vanessa. Yes, there wasn't enough backstory. Thought Vanessa too. I agree. I kind of thought that it was Vanessa. I didn't really feel like there were any other prime suspects, to be honest. Because it was sort of like a closed room mystery because it's on a ship in the middle of space. There's not a lot of suspects that you could get to. So I feel like thinking it was Vanessa was pretty easy, but I did like the fact that we were sort of taken from the different types of scenery. So did you guys think that that was too much of like jumps? Because we did start at the front of the ship, then when we went to the back of the ship, then we Liz gets kidnapped after, so it goes front of the ship, back of the ship, everybody goes into their quarters, then her ex comes by as what was his name? It was Fleet Officer James Markswell and his sort of like assistant, Officer Holston, who seems to be in love with James and tries to be who Liz was before all of her thing. Like there was a lot going on with like the jealousy and the hatred of Liz from Officer Holston, and then not really knowing how it broke apart between James and Liz. But they get there, everybody's quarantined to their rooms while they try and figure out the murder, and then Liz gets kidnapped and taken down to Cerulia, almost as a patsy for she killed our person, and we're going to take her in front of the king who Vanessa's supposed to be marrying. And it seems like there was a lot of like drama going on there. So do you think it was too much, the jump from the ship to the planet and then to finding Chloe's family there, and then the whole entire ride from because it looks like somebody's really, really trying to kill Liz and the her whole entire crew. I feel like it was a lot, but to me, at the same time, I really, really appreciated the jump in scenes because it felt like a real like sci-fi action movie. What did you guys think? Alicia, totally agree. Totally didn't have a clue who did it. I thought this book was more about introducing the crew for future books. I agree, because the way that the second one has started to read, it makes a lot more sense, and I'm liking it a lot better. Renee, I was fine with all the locations, but the last, say, 1/3 felt like it went way too fast from leaving the mom to the court. I agree with that. I also, now, again, I don't know if maybe it's pregnancy brain, but did you guys, like, was I the only one who didn't realize that the whole ship blew up? Like, and then, like, it wasn't even, like, talked about, like all the lives that were lost. Did I miss something? Like, I feel like I missed something, because I thought what had happened was her ship's in the sky. The Ceruleans, Vanessa and everybody, they kidnap Liz in one of her little, in one of, I think it was like James's, like, or no, in one of the Danky ships, right? They go down to the planet. Then I thought that Chloe, Horton, and Rafe took James's ship from there to go and rescue her. And then I thought that the thing that blew up in the sky was the ship they had stolen from James. But I don't understand how no one was on the ship when it blew up. So Amber says she said no one was on the ship when it blew up. But then I'm like, well, where was everybody? Because she had a whole entire other crew on there. Like she had other people. And so like to me, I go, okay, maybe it was pregnancy brain late at night and I was reading, and then I totally must have missed the whole entire darn thing. Or maybe that part was skipped. I don't know. The Reading Nook says I don't remember that part. It may have been so quickly said that it was easy to miss. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Like I tried to, during my lunch break today at work, I tried to reflip through the book to see what happened. On my Kindle, I even wrote, wait, the ship blew up? ? Renee, that section was a blur to me. Me too. And now, granted, sometimes in sci-fis or like really, really fast type of books, that's nice. Sometimes you like that, but I don't know. Overall, do you think that the murder was well written, and did you guess the whodunit? Overall, I think that Ellen, Eugene said something about him holding it together when he left it blew up. Maybe you're right. I need to go back and check. Thank you, Ellen. I love having the whole entire book club here to talk about it all, because sometimes I miss things and I need you all to keep me straight on things. I thought that the mystery was very well written. I feel like the murder was sort of like almost glossed over. Like it didn't seem like there was a lot of emotions with the murder. It was more about finding out why it happened and who done it. And in the end, it was Vanessa was trying to get out of marrying the king and was trying to, do it that way. And so I did guess the whodunit with it being Vanessa, but I do like how it sort of wrapped up, which is why I gave it a 3.25 stars. I liked it enough to start the second book, but I wouldn't say that it was a high star rating for me. I fell asleep listening to the book, so I missed who did it. Yes, so Vanessa is the one who, she actually basically paid those other two guys to kill that guy, and then from what I remember, and then now that I think of it, did no one care about the whodunit for the cleaning crew? Exactly. Oh yeah, there was a second murder on the thing. I totally forgot that. I thought Vanessa wanted the power and the ability to travel. She did, but she wanted it to be away from the king. She didn't want to actually go back home. She wanted all of the power and everything to travel, but she didn't want to do her wifely duties is sort of what happened. She wanted to try and find a way to get out of that. Like she didn't want to go home, which is why Liz overheard that in the spaceship. Vanessa was talking to her sister, and her sister was like, that's just wrong, because her sister was actually in love with the king. Did I miss why James and Liz broke up? No. So I'm assuming it was because of all the things that she was going through with the accusations from her uncle. And he believed that she was corrupt, and then they ended up like breaking up, but they didn't actually go in detail as to why, which is, I would have really, really liked more of that background story. My next one is, do you think that there were enough clues dropped throughout the story to help you figure it out? I feel like the murder wasn't really what was the key element of the mystery. So it didn't, like, I feel like the mystery had to have a murder in order to become like a cozy mystery in general. But I feel like I could have like done without the murder, because it didn't really seem like it was what it was. Like it didn't seem like it was the main reason for everything else to be happening. Were you guys surprised by how the story left off with questions and not really like a sense of closure? So for those that need a recap, Liz goes in front of the king on trial because she feels like she's going to get a fair shake at things if he judges her based on her story. And it seems like the court is very much trying to, like, the court arena, there's like a whole entire crowd of audience, things like it almost seems like it's almost its own reality show in that aspect. And then so she's in the middle, the king's up at the front, and she is telling her story about how she couldn't have been the one to murder his citizen, that she really thinks that it's a whole corrupt plan by Vanessa and all of these things. I really, really enjoyed that whole aspect of it. Like getting to know more of that culture and like how you use that culture's way of believing things to twist things into the way that you need it. I love that everybody showed up to support her. Even her ex James came to corroborate what happened. And so the king finally said, yes, okay, I believe you. And then he tried to make her his wife because he was like, I can't marry Vanessa because she is horrible. So I'm going to need you to be my wife. And then she very, very was like, I would, as much of an honor as it is to be your wife, I feel like I would not be the best person for you. And then she actually suggests Vanessa's sister to be his wife and someone that actually loves him. She is given the K line that they find when they had crash landed. And we also see that Eugene, which is the AI, it's Horton's AI, is given like an ambassadorship at the end of the book. And then so she's given free reign, sort of like a free slate on the planet, but then she has to go up against her own sort of president, who I think in my mind is the one trying to kill her. And he tries to basically bribe her because she has a lot of proof that someone high up is trying to get rid of her. He tries to bribe her with like the best the fleet can offer, but she says no, that she wants to invoke the Leica like clause, which is her family's clause, saying that that a captain should be able to stay with their crew because they become family. So they're given like this ship, but the book ends where Liz opens up her next assignment and she has a smile on her face, but you have no idea where the next assignment is. Renee, the ending was very sitcom to me. The gang all gearing up for a new assignment. End of the day, I think I should have worn my Jane Cobb hat while reading. I agree. I like that she described it like a reality show to the king to be declared innocent. I thought that part was clever. I agree very much so. And so does Amber. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was a fun, easy read. It really, really helped get me back into the mood of reading since being towards the end of my first trimester. So as you guys already know, I have purchased and I am already reading the second book in the series. But are you guys how are you guys wanting to read the next in the series? Are you guys going to pick up the next in the series at all? Is that something that you guys might want, or do you think maybe like, glad I tried it, but I don't necessarily need to read any more in that genre? Which is also totally okay as well, because that's the whole point of book club, is we read different themed books of cozies throughout the whole entire year so you can figure out what you actually do like. Brooke, it was a fun, easy read. I liked that I didn't feel bogged down in the sci-fi details. Yes, she will be reading book 2. Ellen is going to be continuing. Amber says she's not sure yet. Reading Nook, I will read the next book. Yes, I'm going to continue on. I really enjoyed it. Yay, see? That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. Okay, so wrapping up our whole, we had our poll on Patreon for June. The theme for June was beauty and fashion cozies, and our 3 choices were If You've Got It Haunted, Iced Chiffon, and Tressed to Kill. We had almost 30, we had 29 votes on what book to read next, and the one that is the winner got 48% of the votes. And so June's book club pick is If You've Got It, Haunt It. I'll read the synopsis for those that might not have seen it on Patreon, but it is one. I love the cover. It's just adorable. It's it's a haunted vintage mystery series, and it's by Rose Pressey. It says Cookie Chanel. That just gets me. Cookie Chanel. Has opened her own vintage clothing boutique in the charming town of Sugar Creek, Georgia. Always on the lookout for stylish secondhand steals, she attends the estate sale of deceased socialite Charlotte Meadows. But she gets a lot more than she's bargained for when Charlotte's ghost appears before her, offering fashion advice and begging Cookie to find out who murdered her. As the persistent poltergeist tags along and a possibly psychic pussycat moves into the shop, Cookie sorts through racks of suspects to see who may be hiding some skeletons in the closet. Do Cookie and Charlotte have a ghost of a chance of collaring a killer? Or will Cookie's life be the next one hanging by a thread? This was actually like, I know that I pick all of these books, so I want to read all of them. But this is the one that I really, really, really wanted to read. And so I am super, super, super excited about it because yeah. So if you want, I'm going to put this link, the Amazon link in our in the comments. The book is only on Kindle $1.99 right now. So that is actually a good savings. The audiobook is only like $12.94. So that's actually that's not bad. I like a good affordable read, especially with the first in the series. It's always nice to be able to get that. But thank you guys so much for coming by this evening and talking about space murder with me. I loved getting to talk to all of you all. Hopefully I will be able to get more and more videos up. Again, I only have like a week and a half left of work. So a lot of my time will be writing, reading, recording some videos, and then just playing with Alex before this next baby comes. But I just want to say thank you all so much for coming by. You guys are the absolute best. But I think that I'm gonna get off here and go play with Alex before he has to go to bed. But thank you all so, so much. I hope that you guys have an amazing night, and I will see you guys on the last Wednesday of June at the latest to talk about If You've Got It, Haunt It. It sounds so good. All right. Bye, guys. Good night, everyone. Night, Ellen. Good night, Amber. Yes. Summer baby break. Thank you, Amber. You guys are amazing. I will see you guys next time. Bye.